Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 39 of the On Deck podcast. I am your host, Roberto, and today we're going to be talking about All-Star festivities. We're going to do a quick rundown of the Home Run Derby, a little new format this year, and then I'm just going to briefly talk on the All-Star game as we are just a few hours away from having the Derby and probably 24 or so hours away from having the game as well. So just going to talk about that. And then we're going to run through some mid-season awards and how those are shaping up going forward to the end of the year. So I think it should be a good podcast for you guys. But jumping straight into things here, we have the Home Run Derby. And this year, it is going to be in Philadelphia. Obviously, that is where the All-Star Game is being hosted this year. And we have 8 participants. We have Junior Caminero from the Rays, Jack Caglione from the Royals, Ben Rice from my Yankees, Wilson Contreras from the Red Sox, Jordan Walker from the St. Louis Cardinals, Bryce Harper from the hometown Phillies, along with Kyle Schwarber, and Munetaka Murakami from the Chicago White Sox, who I was surprised that he entered this. He had a lingering hamstring issue a couple weeks before, announcing that he was going to be participating, but it's going to be a great home run derby. I'll go over the format first before I give who I think I see winning this, because I think it could go one of two ways, but we'll leave that for a little bit. So this year they've changed the format of the derby compared to years past. So since 2015, it has just been a timed derby where you have a certain amount of time, and then if you hit, I think it was home runs over 440, you would get bonus time added on. And so they've changed it this year, so I think it could be a little more interesting. So it comes down to a number of swings. In round 1, each contestant will have 20 swings. Round 2 will have 15 swings, and again in the final round. And this should be interesting because in years past, you see a lot of guys just swinging as fast as they can and, try to maximize their allotted time. But here you can be a little more selective of pitches, based on your thrower, because, at the end of the day, it is a human throwing. There is going to be human error. So I think this actually benefits those that, have a lot going on in their swing, like a Junior Caminero with the big leg kick. Same goes with a guy like Bryce Harper, big leg kick as well. I think it could benefit these guys because, you have a little more time in between if it just comes down to the number of swings that you're taking in each round. Changing this from how it was last year, there's been a lot of changes in the MLB with, ABS, the defensive shift coming in, the pitch clock. So I guess this is another way that, especially during All-Star festivities, it's a good way to, test things out to see if this is going to be something that they can do moving forward and see if the fans like it, ideally, because, it is all for the fans at the end of the day. But yeah, this lineup should be really interesting. I can't find the matchups over here yet, but I think this is going to be, this is a very interesting field. I will say that. There's a couple of guys that, you wouldn't necessarily think as big home run hitters. Also, all but one guy on this list is an all-star, and that being Jack Caglione, who, fresh still in the league. Was a big home run hitter in college, I will say that, but that was, with metal bats. I think I remember him a couple years ago hitting one, what was it, like 515 with a metal bat? Like, that is kind of absurd, but, wood bats are a little different. But all but one guy on this list is an all-star, which is a little interesting. But guys like obviously Jack Caglione, not really. I mean, he's still fresh, like I said, but not really known as a big one of the top power hitter guys. Same with uh, Ben Rice. I mean, he is up there in home runs, but he also is a very underrated bat to ball guy. Um, I know some of you guys wouldn't know because he does play for the Yankees, and I know a lot of a lot of my friends and also viewers and listeners of the podcast are also big Yankee haters. But he is a very good power hitter, but also a very good bat to ball guy. Wilson Contreras, again, another guy that not really known for his power, at least with the Red Sox. He has had some big home run distance wise with other teams. I know with the Cubs, obviously, I think it was in Coors Field that he hit one. I think it was like 480 or 481. So he's had some big home runs, but not necessarily a guy that I would put of maybe a Jordan kind of thing. But then again, Jordan probably isn't really too interested in doing a home run derby. Um, Someone I am really interested to watch is Murakami. This was a guy that has had big power numbers coming over from Japan. Set the record with, I think it was 52 or 55 home runs in the MPB not too long ago. Honestly, watching him in the WBC in, what was it, 2022 or 2023, kind of put some eyes on the map for him, at least from an or North American standpoint. So it'll be fun to watch him perform in this. And obviously, we have the big names, Junior, one of the bright young stars in all the MLB. He's been on an absolute heater the last couple weeks, or even just honestly since July started. I think he's had what, 9 home runs since the month started, which is absurd. We're on Monday, July 13th. Um, crazy stuff. Jordan Walker has quietly had a breakout season. Not many people are paying attention to him because he does play for the Cardinals in the NL Central. One of the more forgotten divisions in the MLB, but quietly having an all-star campaign. Uh, we always know that he's been able to hit the bar really far and really hard. So it's nice to see him have some recognition for the numbers that he's put up, at least in the first half. We do need to see him continue to do it in the second half, but just on his first half alone, been putting up a great season. Harper and Schwarber being the Phillies' hometown guys, I think they're going to put on a show regardless. Harper, it's been a while since he's participated in a derby. And if I remember correctly, I think he beat Schwarber in, what was it, 2018? Was actually the last time he won it and participated in it. So kind of a full circle moment. Hopefully we don't have to watch those guys battle it out together, because I do want Schwarber to win. There's, a little sneak peek of who I have winning, at least one of the guesses that I have. Um, but yeah, this derby should be interesting. I think it'll be a good vibe, obviously in Philly. It's always seemed to be a good environment for baseball, from watching playoff baseball clips from years past. We all know that Bryson Stott grand slam in, what was it? It was a few years ago. It was lefty grand slam. That clip will always be electric. So I'm glad to see um, Philadelphia getting some recognition, having an event like this going on. But moving on to who I think is going to win, I say it could go one of two ways. We could see Junior Caminero just kind of run away with this, with the month of July that he's been having. But I don't know. I feel like with his big leg kick, it could help, but it also could be one of those things that, tires out and gets inconsistent in a competition like this where, you do have more time, but it is a very, very uh, high effort swing. and a guy like Schwarber, who I also have winning it if Junior doesn't make it through. Very simple, very just whippy bat through the zone. And he's also got just donkey pop for it's been probably a solid 4 years now that Schwarber has been one of the top power guys in the league. So I don't think it'd be a surprise to anybody if he just ran away with this as well. Um, but yeah, those are the two guys that are at least at top of my list. I would be quite surprised if someone else walked away with this award. But at the end of the day, it's for the fans, and we just want to see the ball be hit hard and far. Now, moving on to the actual game itself, we do have the AL being managed by John Schneider, and we do know the starters. We have Shea Langoliers at catcher, Ben Rice at first, Ernie Clement, the All-Star vote leader in the AL, starting at second, Junior at third, Bobby Witt at short. Outfield consists of Mike Trout, Riley Green, Cody Bellinger, and DH being Jordan. Um, and I think it was confirmed that we have Dylan Cease starting the game for the AL. And then for the NL, we have Drake Baldwin, Freddie Freeman, Ozzie Albies, Max Muncy, CJ Abrams. And then the outfield is Brandon Marsh, Juan Soto, Andy Pajes. And obviously at DH, we have Kyle Schwarber. Um, Shohei was supposed to be the DH, but actually missed a start on, I think it was Friday, due to some knee inflammation, and now has backed out of the game to, kind of nurse that injury. The NL will be managed by Dave Roberts, and starting for the NL is Christopher Sanchez of the hometown Philadelphia Angels. Or, whoa, Philadelphia Phillies, not Angels. I was looking at Mike Trout here. Um, I'm kind of happy that Mike Trout is starting. It's been quite a while since we've seen Mike Trout healthy, up and leading into the All-Star break. And I think this being at Philly, or in Philly too, his hometown, who knows? I would love to see a Mike Trout MVP, especially in Philadelphia. I'm just crossing my fingers from now, but I think the game will be good. I would love to see, a competitive, tight game, especially in a very hitter-friendly ballpark. It could get a little dicey. Pitchers are so good now. And the hitters are, maybe a little behind, but still, I would love to see a very close game. I know, the AL has historically been a lot better in these All-Star games, and it's taken a little bit for at least I can't even remember the last time I've seen the NL win an All-Star game, but who knows? Maybe the tides will change this year. But it should be a good game. That will be on Wednesday, or sorry, not Wednesday, Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, and it will be a great one. I will definitely be tuning in. And probably it's one of the more competitive all-star games in all of sports. Maybe a little biased, but for people that actually watch, like, see the NBA All-Star game, that thing is not competitive at all. And, they made tweaks to make it more competitive, but don't think it's been working. I can't really talk too much about the NHL All-Star game, but it probably is the same thing. The Pro Bowl, that's nowhere close to as competitive as the MLB All-Star game. So this is probably people's favorite ones if you're watching sports, and definitely 8 o'clock Tuesday night. People better be tuned in because it is going to be a star-studded showdown in Philadelphia. Now, moving on to everybody's favorite discussion, and that is the awards race. We're gonna go over. Actually, no, we'll go over Rookie of the Year first. At least in the AL, Kevin McGonigal has kind of run away with this award. Didn't take him long to get called up to the Tigers, and he's done nothing but produce since. This was someone where, at least in the preseason and even leading up to the season, it's just a matter of when is he going to get called up. I know that there was, you know, some question marks coming into the season with the Tigers lineup, and if there was enough contact, and because we saw in the postseason, if when Tarek Skubal isn't on the mound, there isn't much offense coming from this team, and the pitching staff gets kind of iffy, and you need to score runs to win. So a guy like Kevin McGonigal has been hitting leadoff a lot for this team and producing. So right now he's at the top of the, AL Rookie of the Year favorites. Um, but honestly, it's probably his award to lose at this point. He's had a great season, but the guy behind him, Munetaka Murakami, uh, massive power. Um, Especially to start the season. He hit, what was it, 3 home runs in his first 4 games. And the clips of him saying, I have power, or I have tons of power at the beginning of the season in his presser was, just circulating around social media. So I'm happy to see him producing. The batting average is pretty low with Murakami, but you do give him grace because he is producing, hitting home runs, slugging. It took him, I remember seeing it took him quite a while to hit his first double of the year, which I mean, he doesn't play in a very big ballpark at White Sox Field. I think it's Grant Trust Field, or I can't remember what it's called, but that field isn't massive, and Murakami also isn't a speed demon on the bases, but he's definitely made the most of his opportunity when on the field. He just came back from, like I talked about earlier, that hamstring strain, I think it was. Happy to see him back on the field. I will be getting a Murakami jersey very, very soon. I just haven't decided which which White Sox jersey to get his name on. Um, but they have tons of choices, so that might be coming sooner rather than later. And then right behind him, we have Travis Bazzana of the Cleveland Guardians. This was also another guy that in the preseason, as soon as he got sent to minor league camp, it was only a matter of when. Everybody kind of had that feeling that he was going to be called up very, very soon to a Guardians team that, just always, doesn't necessarily have a superstar outside of, Jose Ramirez, obviously the best third baseman in all the MLB. But the team goes with Ramirez, and, it kind of needs a supporting cast, and second base was always a big question mark that kind of had just a bunch of platoon guys filling in there in years past. Now I think that you can plug in Bazzana for the near future. I think it's a great sign for Cleveland fans, and especially if you keep that J-Ram guy there at third base for as long as you can. I think this is a guy that you can pencil into second base for quite some time. Um, Moving over to the NL Rookie of the Year, again, this guy leading the charge, JJ Weatherholt. Again, it's his award to lose because, man, this guy is absolutely unreal. Uh, Quietly, putting up a very, very, very solid season for, again, the St. Louis Cardinals, who were thought to be in a very middle kind of the pack rebuilding year, but they have a bunch of young pieces. They have Walker, Wynn, obviously Weatherholt. They have Alec Burleson, who quietly has always been a solid player, just never gets the recognition for it. Um, this is a good team. Uh, Again, and they play in the NL Central, which at times, if you go on a run, you can make it to, the second place spot in there because those Brewers, man, something about those Brewers, just they find a way to make it work. But coming back to the Cardinals, I think this is Weatherholt's a war to lose, and it's really been interesting watching his development over the years, especially in the futures games last year. Kind of opened my eyes to how he is as a player. Had a great lefty swing against Noah Schultz, who might be next up lefty wise as one of those big names. Obviously, he's still young, has time to develop, but had a great lefty swing against that guy in the futures game last year. And I was like, well, okay, this guy might be the real deal. And, look at that a year later. And this guy could have messed around and been an all-star this year. Honestly, he's played that well. Um, Next up, we have here Sal Stewart from the Reds. And I mean, maybe a little biased. I think this guy is probably one of the more underrated bats just because he plays at least half his games in Great American, which is a very hitter-friendly ballpark. But he does produce. I will say that. He produces very well for this lineup that has kind of been a disappointment, at least when we look at what they did last year. He has 19 home runs, which leads the team. But yeah, I don't know. The Cincinnati Reds are a confusing team. I guess it doesn't help when you have Ellie De La Cruz out for a little bit and you kind of just isolate Sal Stewart here as one of the bats to look out for. But I think he's had a great season. Don't think obviously he's going to win the award because we have this guy Weatherholt running away with it. And then the same thing goes for Bryce Eldridge here to round out the top three. This was a mammoth. I mean, he is a mammoth of the man. Is kind of platooning with Devers at first base, which is a weird thing to say because they're both lefties. Obviously, we all know Devers is not historically been a great defender, but has, held his own at first base. Hasn't been terrible. He's been, passable. But Bryce Eldridge, man, this guy can swing the bat and hit the ball hard. I would love to see him DH more. Excuse me, sorry. I would love to see him DH more rather than Devers. Just so he can focus on swinging the bat as well as he has this year. This, I think wasn't he a two-way guy at one point? I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong, but for as big as he is, he's had quite a bat-to-ball skills. He's hitting 271 on the year. Only 8 home runs, but, the at-bats will come. This is kind of his first real run at getting some playing time. But I think he's looked really good. He's also 21. Like this guy, unless they trade him in some blockbuster deal, which I don't think is going to happen just because the San Francisco Giants, sorry, are, in the market of selling, I think. I think we see a, what's his name? Matt Chapman trade very soon, possibly, once he does get healthy going into the trade deadline, which is coming up in a couple weeks. But man, it's Weatherholt's to lose. Like he's playing good defense, hitting the ball, driving in runs at least as he can in the top middle of the order. Can't really say too much. This guy's 23 and he's gonna be a stud. I'm a firm believer in JJ Weatherholt. But moving on to the AL and NL Cy Young Awards, we're going to talk about the AL first, obviously, because my guy Cam Schlittler is leading the charge here. What a year for Cam. This guy has been just dominant with 3 fastballs. It's kind of crazy to think about, but fastball, cutter, and the 2-seam, if you want to call it a sinker, do whatever you'd like. But it is high octane dominance, essentially. Um, he's been really good. Even last year when he got called up, I thought this guy was going to be, uh, middle of the pack kind of guy, and it was going to kind of fall off once the league kind of adjusted to what he's been doing. But no, I was, I was very wrong. In 118 innings this year, he's struck out 137, and he's walking absolutely nobody. 25 walks in that span, has a 4.1 WAR. Don't really care about the record. It's 9-5. But the big thing that matters, ERA, Ks, WHIP, which is under one. This is easily the front runner. And you could look at a guy in second place who we're going to talk about right now, and Dylan Cease, who has also put up a great season. I think had missed one start due to a hamstring. I think it was a hamstring or knee. Um, but this guy has also been really, really good. For the Jays, 98 innings, has punched out 148. Has walked a little more, walked 44. Um, put up a 2.56 ERA. WHIP is a little higher than Schlittler's, obviously due to the walks, but this guy's produced for the Jays, and this is an all-star at the end of the day. Um, but if you're a Jays fan, I think you should be really happy with what Dylan Cease has given. He is going to start games for you. This has been one of the more durable guys in the league. Him and Gosman, manning the top of that rotation. You can only ask for the rest of the guys to kind of follow their lead in health wise. But he's been really good. It's kind of hard to fathom watching fastball slider and how hard he throws that slider, almost, touching up at 90, 92 sometimes. It's a little bullet slider, but it's just with galore on it. And very, very interesting motion to watch, but man, he's good. And then rounding it out here, Drew Rasmussen. This quietly has been probably one of the better pitchers in the league the last probably 3 years. We don't really talk about him because of the smaller sample size that he has. But this year, he in 99 innings, he struck out 98, walked 17. The whip is at one, or not even, it's under one at 0.95. ERA is a little inflated when you compare it to Schlittler and Cease at a 3.26. But again, this is another guy who attacks with, three fastballs. The cutter is the primary pitch here, but he can spin it too. He's got an absolutely disgusting sweeper. And this was a large part of why the Rays are in first place. Every time he takes the ball, he's gonna go out there and kind of dominate for 5-6 innings. And yeah, like a really big reason why the J or not Jays, the Rays are in first place is their pitching staff, and they're big hitters like Yandy Diaz and Jonathan Aranda, who every year try to, or not even try, they just find a way to get it done. The Rays are, never really big spenders, but they always have that pitching factory, whether it be with their starters or relievers. They just find a way, and it's they can't keep getting away with it. They really can't. But moving on to the NL, top guy here, I think everybody kind of knows at this point, is Mizorowski. This guy is an absolute freak of nature. Was gonna pitch in the All-Star game, but won't due to arm fatigue. I think he's also dealing with like a knee issue as well, but this guy's nuts. Like 117 innings or sorry, not 117, 111 innings. This guy struck out 162 batters, walking 27. That is insane. He's put up a 4.2 WAR, ERA under 2 at 1.62. This guy is an absolute freak. He's 6'7", 200 pounds. That's probably if he's got all of his jerseys on and a couple pairs of shoes on. This guy is a stick out there on the mound, and he throws 105. Like it, every time I watch a Mizorowski start, there's something, I guess, must-watch TV. There's always something that you need to be looking out for. I think he has to win. Uh, unless he slows down or something happens, this is his award to lose. The guy coming in second, Christopher Sanchez, had a rough start. A couple, what was it his last start? Um, his last start, yeah, was not a great one. Gave up 9 to, I think it was the Royals, or it might have been the start before. This guy's an absolute dog. A workhorse, 127 innings, 144 Ks, walking 25, whip at 1.19, ERA at 2.62, and a almost 5.5 WAR at the All-Star break. 5.5 WAR at the All-Star break. Last year he put up an 8 WAR, and I think he might surpass that this year. He's on pace for probably a 9 WAR season, I would say. And from a lefty pitcher this dominant, nuts. If he didn't get roughed up in that last start, I think it would have been a little closer, but it still is Mizorowski's award to lose. And then rounding it out here, Paul Skeens, who, from what he's done the last couple years, this isn't his best season. He is, striking guys out still, 108 innings at 130 Ks. Still not walking anybody, 24 walks in those innings, but has a 3.57 ERA, only just over 2 WAR. Yeah, this, from the dominance that we've seen Skeens put up in his first 2 years, an ERA both under 2. I think, it could be a little fatigue. I think it was well documented at the beginning of the year that he had put on some more muscle, and I think that might be affecting him a little bit. The fastball velo is down almost like 2-3 ticks from last year's totals. I think even his last start before the All-Star break, I saw his velo is, averaging 96. And I think for Paul Skeens to really be effective, that fastball velo needs to be like upper 90s. And, it's crazy to say a 96 isn't going to get it done. But with how hard guys are throwing nowadays, I think it honestly isn't going to get it done. And especially Skeens, a guy that dominates heavy on the fastball, and it's been getting hit hard too, I think, because of that lower velo. But I would love to see Skeens, turn it up in the second half and, be the Skeens that we've seen in years past. But moving it on to the big AL and NL MVP awards. And the top 2 guys are, as you would expect, in the AL, we have Yordan Alvarez, who, absolute monster. Absolute monster, might win the Triple Crown, which is absurd for a DH. Usually you see DHs be, big sluggers, will definitely hit their fair share of home runs and drive in runs, but never for a high batting average. Right now, this guy's batting .318 with 31 home runs, 70 RBI, OPS over 1. So 1.059. This is nuts. Like, him and Aaron Judge, when healthy, are easily the best 2 hitters in the league. But with Judge out, man, it is just absurd to see what this guy is doing on a day-to-day basis. Or, sorry, night to night basis, I guess. But this guy's a big, big presence in the box, and I'm not surprised that I'm actually quite surprised he just doesn't get intentionally walked a little more than he does, because I would not want to face Jordan in any kind of situation. Hell, I'd walk him with the bases loaded. Like he has the potential for damage anytime he steps into the box. Um, and so does the guy coming in second place in the midseason award kind of recap. It's Nick Kurtz of the Athletics. Um, this guy, he's 23 years old, and he's producing like he's been in the league at least 5, 6 years. Hitting 266, 20 home runs, 66 RBIs, OPS of 902. Um, I think the numbers do get a little inflated. Kind of like the Coors effect. It does play in or not Las Vegas. I forget where they play, but they have that minor league stadium that they call their home field, and the ball does fly out there. He also played in Vegas with the Brewers, and they scored like 30 runs each in one game. That was crazy. Okay, maybe it wasn't 30 runs, but it was pretty high. Um, but this for the Athletics team who started off hot and not too long ago were the first place team in their division. I think he needs to, obviously first get healthy. He has a thumb sprain currently, or else he would have been probably starting the All-Star game. Um, but he needs to get healthy and keep producing for this Athletics team, because he's probably just going to come second in this race unless Jordan goes down. But I hope he doesn't, because I would love to see him win a Triple Crown. I think it would be the first one since Miguel Cabrera did it way back in, I want to say it was like 2014, 2013. It's been a while. But I would love to see it happen. Next up, Bobby Witt Jr. This guy, having a down year per se, compared to his other stats, but this is a guy that's going to give you amazing defense, and just rack up WAR, defensively. Only hitting 286. This is a guy that we've seen, climb up into the high 300s, just a couple years ago, actually, when him and Aaron Judge were having that batting title race. But this is a guy that always is going to give you 20-20 potential, maybe even 30-30. This year he only has 13 home runs, 39 RBIs, and an 816 OPS. But the big thing is his 30 stolen bases, only caught 5 times. Um, yeah, I think the Kansas City Royals, I'm glad they paid this guy, because he is going to stay a long time with this franchise. Might be the new George Brett of their franchise, as that big cornerstone that you kind of associate with that team forever. But nowhere close to Jordan. I would love to just see a Bobby Witt, upset Jordan, but honestly, I don't even know what you'd have to do to take the award away from a possible Triple Crown guy. And the same thing goes in the NL when we talk about Shohei Ohtani, because this guy is also another freak of nature. Batting 293, 22 home runs, 58 RBIs, OPS of 953. And that's just hitting. We forget he's pitching a little more this year. It did take him a little bit to kind of get stretched out. But this guy on the mound, he's him. I don't know what, we have never seen anybody do this since, obviously Babe Ruth, and we did have Brendan McKay for a little bit, but he kind of got fizzled out due to injuries and stuff like that. But this is a guy just off of pitching alone almost has a 3 WAR. And then he has pitched only 85 innings, but in those 85 innings, he struck out 95, walked 26, whip under 1, an ERA under 2. Like, it's wild. And then we talk about his hitting. He hasn't stolen as many bases as we've seen in the past. Only 6 this year, but still has put up a 3.2 WAR batting. So this guy's put up essentially a 6 WAR season by the halfway point. And we could see the pitching tick up a little bit once he comes back from this injury, and we could see there's potential for it to be an 11, 12 WAR season if he decides to, steal a little more bases. Only a 6 this season, and generational talent, will I say, Shohei Ohtani. People forget that we don't see this every day. Kids now are, wanting to be more and more two-way guys, but it never really sticks. And for Shohei to be doing it at this high level for this long, uh, it's mad. It's absolutely mad. Um, Coming in second place here in the standings for the awards, PCA, who has made some big jumps, at least in the bat to ball department. Last year, finished the year hitting out 247. I know he had that lightning quick start, at least up until the All-Star break, and then fell off a cliff in the second half. This year, he's been even better in the first half. Hitting 291, 21 home runs, 53 RBIs, OPS over 900, over 20 stolen bases, has put up a 5.8 WAR season already. And this already is about to trump his potential MVP case last year, where he put up a 6 WAR season, had 31 home runs, 95 RBIs, stole 35 bases. I just hope that he can continue it in the second half, just at least to give Ohtani a chance. Just feel a little pressure. Excuse me, feel a little pressure to still compete and win this award, because I would love to see someone other than Shohei win it. But at the same time, I want him to continue to win, just to make his case for probably the best baseball player to ever live. Um, at least talent-wise, he already is, because other than Babe Ruth, and if you compare Babe Ruth to Shohei Ohtani's stats, this is already a million times better. But man, I would love to see him win an MVP award again for like the 18th millionth time. But good luck, PCA. And same goes, good luck to Kyle Schwarber, because obviously this guy is leading the league in home runs at 32. Batting average is up to 256, 59 RBIs. OPS almost around 950. But yeah, there doesn't really stand a chance. He has put up a 2.6 WAR as a DH, which is kind of crazy. But a lot of this, comes from him hitting home runs and getting on base. And for a Phillies team that, ever since they fired Rob Thompson, and Don Mattingly has taken the reins to this team, they're winning. They're playing winning baseball. Just 2 games back of Atlanta for first place in the NL East. So I think this could get a little interesting, not necessarily for the MVP award, but more so for the race in the division, because Atlanta has been scuffling a little bit. They've had a lot of injuries. Acuna is out and should be coming back soon. But still, this is a scuffling team, and a great opportunity for Philadelphia to come in there and kind of swoop up that first place and secure their spot in the playoffs. Obviously, they're going to make moves at the trade deadline, so going to be interesting to watch. But I think that's going to round everything out for the awards. Kind of went on a little longer than I expected, but that's just how the podcast rolls. kind of go on some tangents about guys and, the different decisions people make. But at the end of the day, All-Star weekend is going to be, or I say All-Star weekend, All-Star festivities. This isn't the NBA. All-Star festivities are always fun for, guys to be opened up to different stories about players that they might not be so accustomed to watching or hearing about. Like we're probably going to hear some stories about some White Sox guys or Munetaka Murakami in the home run derby, or Jack Caglione in the home run derby. Guys that, you don't always get a chance to watch on a night to night basis. You're going to be like, wow, this guy's really good. And who knows, might turn into your new favorite player. But I hope everyone enjoyed this podcast. Um, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, don't forget to rate and review. Rate the pod 5 stars for your boy. It's a lot of fun recording this, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Uh, Comment who you think you have winning the All-Star or All-Star. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's comment down below who you think you have winning the All-Star Game MVP, and give me your predictions for the home run derby and which league has the best home run hitters. Um, but with that being said, I hope all you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.